one possession at a time. I think the talk by Vooch and Pat Bev and Alex and Zach and DeMar was really good, in terms of what they were talking about. I give them a lot of credit, in that game, getting down like that and having the toughness to continue to fight to get back into the game. I think we maybe cut it to 9 at the fourth, and I thought the defense was really good. Zach really got going offensively there in the second half. We made plays, we helped each other, did a lot of good things. The biggest thing was I thought we fouled too much. And with the fouling, we were fortunate that they shot the ball so poorly from the free throw line, tonight as a team. That certainly was a factor.
What did you think of Zach's performance from 2:45, that timeout at the end of the third quarter, to where you basically got back into the game and tied it up or a couple of points down?
I mean, he was great. I mean, he was assertive. He was aggressive. I thought very, very decisive. When he does that, I feel like he's at his best. When he's not trying to survey and hold the ball and he just goes in his attack mode or pull up, drive it, pass it. He's really, really, I think, is incredibly difficult to guard. It's very, very hard to load up. And it enables him to get a lot of different parts of his game in there. He can pass it, stop, shoot it, end or, get to the rim. So he was a huge part, I think, closing that third quarter out that, kind of gave us some life. And, I thought Andre Drummond gave us good minutes in that first half. And I give, we just wanted to switch more. And I give DJ a lot of credit for the limited amount of time he was in there. He was part of the run where we kind of got it back from whatever it was, 19 back down to 9.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though it doesn't matter what he says on the box score, when you went small, that's when the game kind of flipped. I'm not saying it was all DJ, but I mean, that small lineup is what changed momentum in that third quarter. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that group there, it was a lot of things. I think it was the ability to switch. I think we were able to play a little bit faster. And then I also thought the other part was Zach really got going. I mean, he really got going. And, that, if you're getting stops and you're down by the number of points we're down, that's great. But if you're not scoring either, then it's a problem. So Zach, the scoring, and then obviously the stopping and the pace which we play with was what got us back into it.
When they're missing that amount of free throws, do you have a sense on the bench like they're giving us this game?
No. I really thought tonight that there was an opportunity to get DeMar to get there a little bit more than he did. He was downhill in the lane a lot tonight. So was Zach. And then obviously they offensive rebound, they play around the basket to begin with. But, I didn't think that sometimes it happens. Teams just don't shoot the ball particularly well from the free throw line. They got there a lot. We could have done a better job in certain situations, I think. But there's no question with as close as the game was, my guess would be that they would look at the free throw line as being the difference.
When you came into this game knowing that Alex Caruso was going to have some really big defensive assignments, how did you think that he kind of stood up to that tonight?
I just think there was a lot of different things that happened in the game, like big-time things by different players. Like we talked about Zach scoring. I thought Alex had a couple steals in rotation that was really important. I thought Patrick Beverley, when he got back in for that fourth quarter stint, I thought he really was energized and helped us. Vooch made free throws late. I thought DeMar facilitated and got downhill and got to the rim. There was just a lot of different things and a lot of different plays where different guys stepped up. And just really, it was really great to see them continue to stick together on the road like that when you get down and continue to fight their way back.
He's got a question.
I'm sorry.
I got a question.
Okay.
I want to follow up on that, Zach.
On
I mean,
Zach?
Zach, he's had a good season, obviously, once he got healthy and post-All-Star break. He's had a good season, for others haven't seen. But in the larger picture, he's kind of been a very polarizing figure in Chicago and elsewhere. Does this sort of make a statement about what he can do and who he can be that, with the team kind of dead in the water, he just kind of took over and brought you back in the game like that?
I've the first thing is a lot of people don't get a chance to see these guys as intimately as I do. He is a great human being. He's a great person. He's a great guy. He's a team guy. He's incredibly unselfish. I do think that, his heart is always in the right place in terms of wanting to do what's best for the team. And I think he, to the best of his ability, tries to read the game and make decisions that are best for the team. and I always admire that, about players. And, people can have opinions about anybody. It really, I'm with him every single day, and I see where his heart's at. And I think the one thing that probably hasn't been spoken about enough, in my opinion, about him is, like, his summer was so unique. He signs this big contract. He misses 4 of the first 8 games. He's really trying to get his legs back under him. There's a portion of the season where he's probably playing at a level that he's never been accustomed to playing at in a long time. And the work, the coming in at nighttime, the extra treatment, the physical therapy, working with the strength and conditioning, like just that he's going to get back. And just put his nose down and worked, And, I thought today, like, none of us out here are perfect, but his heart's in the right place. Are there things that he could get better at, and I could get better at, and DeMar and Vooch and the rest of our, sure, everybody can. But he's got a really good spirit and a good heart about him.
I don't want to diminish his decency, but that has been the question about Zach, whether he could, under these circumstances, because he's been in them before and hasn't, and it seemed like a pretty extraordinary performance in an elimination type of situation.
He was phenomenal. I mean, he basically, with DeMar, and I think maybe Vooch was in there towards the end. Maybe I don't think Vooch was in there, but that third quarter, that group, I'm not saying that they solely won the game, because I thought when Alex and Bev came back in the game with Vooch and Zach and DeMar, that was a big factor too. But what he did at the end of the third quarter and going into the fourth, and part of the beginning of the fourth before he came back out, it would have been very, very difficult for us to have won that game if he had not done that. So his performance was extraordinary, and it gave us life, and it gave us a hope. And then once we got back into it, I think a lot of guys made a lot of different plays. But I give him credit. He just has, he had that mentality like he's going to do whatever he can do to help us get back in the game. We didn't shoot the ball at all from the three-point line tonight, at all. And he made some really, really big ones to kind of help us keep getting closer. And he made timely ones as well.
Both of these teams win the turnover battle most nights. What did you see that kind of went into you guys getting the best of that?
The turnover battle? We talked a lot about it the last 2 days. We needed to do a better job. I felt like a lot of our turnovers, quite honestly, were unforced, that we could do a better job. And I think that the offensive rebounding the last 2 times we've played them and the turnovers have really made it difficult. I thought there was 4 keys tonight, and they dominated one of them. I thought the free throw line, I thought transition, offensive rebounding, and free throws was going to be critical.
Billy, you beat the Heat 3 times this season. Do you quick thoughts on that matchup Friday night? Obviously, it's different circumstances, but quick thoughts on that matchup Friday
Yeah, we know going there again. It's another great road test against a team that's seasoned and is coming off a loss, and will look to rebound and play to their identity and their style. So we have a lot to get ready for, and we'll be able to flush this tomorrow and get ready for heading down to Miami and getting prepared for them. So I don't know. There'll be some things I think we can take from the first 3 games, but those are over with now. This is a new opportunity, a new challenge that will be in front of us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Okay.
Man, I just seen it. She went viral. Man, I haven't let it soak in yet. Everybody keeps saying, but that's her. I kept hearing something during the game. Then it was one free throw somebody missed, and I looked back and I was like, damn, that's my daughter screaming. So I was just making sure she was all right though.
Zach, the timeout, 2:45 left in the third quarter. You guys are down 16. You came out, you had that run. I was at the end of the quarter, kind of, and then beginning fourth, got thinking. But what's the mindset? What's the team talking about? What are you trying to do coming out of that timeout where it looks like you're kind of dead in the water?
Just be aggressive and get it close before the fourth quarter. Rotation-wise, he was going to come in early fourth, so just try to get it close. We weren't doing terrible on defense. It just wasn't getting good breaks, but offensively we were slow. We weren't getting downhill. just wanted to be aggressive attack and, obviously just get going. And once that happened, I think the rhythm for the whole team got going.
Zach, when you see a team struggling at the free throw line like they did the entire game, can you start to get a sense and feel it that they are tightening up and it is getting a harder chore for them each time they go up there?
I mean, it's one and done game. And, obviously you want to give yourself the best chance. And I'm happy they missed a lot of them. I think we could do a better job of limiting the second chance points. You don't want to be put in that position where you're hoping somebody misses. But, we stepped in, we made ours. So I'm happy with that.
DeMar, you've been in a lot of these elimination sort of situations where you've seen performances. What did you think of the way Zach played, especially in the third, into the fourth, and what he did for the team?
Man, amazing. He carried us, was aggressive, downhill. He put his will on the game, and we all followed behind that, offensively and defensively. That's why he is who he is. It was great. I knew it was coming when I seen his feet start moving fast. I knew he was going to get to being aggressive and getting downhill. Nobody could guard him getting downhill. We was making plays. Guys was locked in. It was fun. Tonight was fun.
What was kind of the general mood when you guys were down 19, but you started chipping away in that third quarter?
I mean, we was fine. We was fine. Nobody kind of panic or we just knew what we had to do. We put ourselves in a hole, and we understood what we had to do to get ourselves out. And that's what we did.
Zach, you had that one that he checked three in transition. Obviously, you kind of done most of your damage in that period, attacking the rim. Talk through that kind of decision on that break there when you nailed that three.
In transition, they were so far back. Gary Trent, transition, people know I'm going to be trying to go to the rim. So if his feet were below the three-point line, I just pulled up. I wanted to hit the next one after that, too. So, it was, I get going. I'm going to throw him up there with confidence and get downhill next possession.
Y'all did just start getting to the rim a whole lot more in the second half.
Yeah.
What changed, what shifted for you that you were able to get this team to the rim?
It's aggressiveness,
Yeah.
really. I think, we start figuring out how they're playing us. They're so far up the court, and they started doubling him with pick and rolls. We really didn't want any screens, space them out. If they draw a double team, once we start getting downhill, find open man. But for me in the third quarter, just be aggressive and throw it all out there.
So just considering also just your season, man, the way you started, after coming off the injury and just after all this, just as a feel, what kind of feeling do you have to have a game like this, kind of one of the bigger ones probably in your career?
It feels good. I knew I was going getting rhythm after coming off the injury in the summertime. Credit to him, he did a good job talking to me. When I was upset early on in the season, getting my rhythm back, and then obviously about a month before All-Star break, start feeling like myself. And I think everything you guys could see that numbers show it, and I wanted to take it into this these playing games.
DeMar, there was so much hype around this game leading up to it. What did it actually feel like in the moment to be able to clinch this game in this environment for you?
It's always great coming here. This is my first home. This is where I built my foundation, who I was as a professional, as a man. So it's so much that I'm connected to here. I'm gonna forever be connected to. So it's always great. It's always bittersweet coming here. But in a moment like this, it was definitely cool to be able to get a victory in the playing game.
You guys
You
were
talked a little bit about your daughter already, but what was kind of the decision between having her come and what was it like having her under the basket there where you could see?
It's crazy. My daughter called me the other day when she was getting out of school, and she was just, she just said, "Dad, can I come to the Toronto game?" I remember going to all the Toronto games when she was a kid, and I almost said no because she in school back home. She kept asking. She was just adamant about coming to support, and I just said, you can miss one day at school and come to a game, and I'm glad I did. I owe her some money for sure.
How old is she coming fresh?
Nah, she got to go back to school. School first. Yeah. 9.
It's like you walked in and heard Billy answer the question about Miami, and I know playing games are different animals than regular season games, but why do you think you guys had success against Miami in the regular season?
We matched up well against them. Obviously, this is once again a one-and-done situation. We have to go in with the same mindset. They don't make adjustments. We are too. But, it's going to be whoever wants it more. And I think that's it comes down to that.
You've been around Chicago now 2 years, and there's always a lot of noise around the sack, it seems like. What a game like this kind of play, say about him what people don't know and maybe what don't appreciate?
How special he is. It's not too many people in this league that has the talent that he has. and it felt good just to be able to share his, see him get appreciated, from the moment that I got here. I want everything to come his way in a positive nature because I know how hard he worked, how much he cared about the game, and he's a hell of a person. So for him to,
Don't make me blush, man.
I don't say this many nice things to him all the time. So, but it's just great it's just great to see his appreciation that come because of the talent that he has. Like I said, I've always been a fan of him before I even came to Chicago. So now to be able to share every moment with him and see it means a lot. So it's definitely dope to see it.
Mark, nothing new, but what do you think of Alex Caruso and Pat kind of defending Pascal? And
Man, it was amazing. I mean, we feed off those guys, man. We feed off them. It's contagious. It's amazing what they do. It's amazing how much pride they take in being defenders. And with that, with us being the leaders of the team, we got to follow behind it. You got to rally behind it. And it's amazing when you see them lock up, get steals, make big plays, sacrifice their body, screen the rolls, diving for the ball. It's definitely get us going.
Hey, Zach, you've had obviously big regular season games, and this game is kind of in the ether. It doesn't count as anything, but obviously you know the magnitude of it. Do you feel this is your first big Bulls moment game where there's an impact to it, there's a lasting memory to it, where you guys now are in do or die and you get the win?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let y'all decide that. I mean, I just wanted to help us win the game. If I had 0 points or 40, I just wanted to help us win the game, and we did that. So it's move on to the next one, and see what we can do from there.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
The 50% free throw shooting is obviously a huge issue, but they'll say you have, I think, 62 points in the second half. What did they do to sort of turn that around?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, obviously LaVine got, super cooking there in the third. They were really spreading the floor on us and getting by kind of our first line of defense and getting it deep towards the rim a lot, and just using some really good athleticism and skill to finish a lot of those, play through the hits and score and get a bunch of and ones as well. But mostly it was just our first line of defense up top, really, Doug, that started. I think we needed to adjust a little bit more. I thought it became pretty physical out on the perimeter, but we weren't quite using our arms and bodies enough to keep those guys in front. Yeah.
I don't know, free throw shooting is free throw shooting, but what do you think of your guys missing 50% of the 30?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you miss 50% of them when you're 5 for 10, it's probably not a big deal, right? But I mean, that's a lot of misses, right? So, we left a lot of points on the board there, for sure. I don't think that you're gonna you're not going to make them all in a game, but I've said this to you before. I think if you ever miss over 10 in a game, it's really hard to win, right? But we still had our chances. Even with that, we still had our chances there. I thought we had one little stretch in the game where we just stopped completing passes. Like we were getting into some double, we were reading the double team so well all night and finding people, and we had a couple of set plays that were, really wide open, and we just had about 4 or 5 really poor executed passing plays that there was things open and kind of set up for us you kind of knew that's what we were going to and didn't make them. So that probably let us down too, and let them get out in transition, because they did get some transition buckets as well.
What was your messaging to your team right now?
Right now? Nothing. I just said, listen, that was a tough one. I thought they played really hard. I think for the most part, we did a good job executing the game plan. We probably had more mistakes in our schemes in the first half than we did in the second. It just came down to kind of ISO one-on-one defense, and in the second half. So again, I thought they played tough. I thought, again, for the most part, they did a good job of trying to share the basketball and make the right plays on offense. Yeah, just a tough one, man. I feel bad for them. I think they tried and played really hard.
You talked a lot over the last few weeks about the importance of getting some of these guys some more playoff reps.
Yeah.
How disappointing is it to not be able to go further and get those?
I mean, it's super disappointing. Listen, I think that you know, there's been times, especially, you know, even early in the season when we were just kind of hovering over 500. I think we had a really difficult schedule to start, but we were a bucket away from a big you know, knocking off the teams that finished at the top, right? And that kind of, you know, you always got to pick off a couple of those when you got a chance, and we didn't seem to be able to pick off maybe 3 or 4 of them where we're right there at the last possession of the game. All right, I can kind of clearly remember some of those. So some of that stuff probably catches up to us in the end. You know, having to play in the play-in, you know, just a few more wins here or there. Maybe we can climb up and get there. But you know, I've always said there's still a lot of guys that need playoff experience because, as you can see, it's different. Right, it's different. It's physical. It's pressure. It's a lot of high stakes and stuff, and you gotta live through some of that to be able to get through some of it. Right, so it is disappointing. I said that for 2 years now that we needed playoff games, so it's disappointing not to get any for sure.
Finding contributions off the bench is obviously a problem all year. How much of a struggle was that, not only tonight but throughout the year?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, certainly, you know, we were in a one-game scenario. I think we probably would have imagined, you know, most of our guys playing, you know, 35 to 40, 42, 44 minutes, you know. And we tried to, you know, do some things tonight to stagger it a little bit, to keep 4 starters out there, et cetera. But I don't know. I thought Precious played okay in his limited minutes. He had a couple really key offensive rebounds, I thought. He had 4 for the game, so I thought he did okay. And just a tough. They play pretty small, so it's tough to get, you know, some of our backup bigs or our wings in that game with them playing so many guards.
When you went away from Yak for a few possessions there, was that just a product of the tough passing that you alluded to, the spacing?
No, we were just trying to get into a situation where we could maybe switch some of those screen and rolls, and you know, we tried to get it so, you know, that OG, Scotty, and Freddie would be involved in the actions, and yeah, just trying to do that, giving us also, you know, was kind of hoping, you know, Gary had a couple good looks, kind of hoping he'd had a bunch of games this year where he'd not do much and make a couple late threes in the 4th, so we're just kind of hoping maybe he'd find one of those, and he actually got a couple chances, thought he was going to knock one down, didn't work out.
What kind of adjustments did you see the Bulls make, if any, in terms of the 1-5 pick and roll? The Fred and Yak were running a lot early. Maybe more success early. Did you see any adjustments? Yeah,
I mean, well, first of all, they were blitzing, putting 2 on Fred, even kind of stringing out into a corral, a soft blitz, et cetera. And then they just kind of started, they went small for a while and got into some up-court pressure and went to 1 through 5 switching, and just trying to make us beat them in ISO basketball, right? Yeah, and then they kind of stayed with the switching for probably the last quarter and a half. Yeah.
Last question, please.
How would you sum up the season? It's you know, kind of some.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. I think we had some, you know, certainly some up and downs. Michael, I think that we, you know, we had again. I thought we kind of came out of the gates playing pretty well. Then we had to weather some injuries, et cetera. And it was kind of funny. We kind of did that. And then it seemed that once we got everybody back, the out of rhythm, that kind of got us out of rhythm for a long stretch, took a couple tough losses, probably didn't bounce out of that like we normally do. You know, usually we get a loss, we'll bounce back, get the next one. If we get 2, we're certainly getting the 3rd one, and had that, you know, had that stretch of about I don't know, 12 games, maybe 10 games, 12 games where we just didn't resemble ourselves for a while. So we really had to get back to work. Again, I've told the guys several times in the last 2 weeks, I'm proud of them for getting back, 6 or 7 games below 500 and getting back to 500, because we did coach them hard and work them hard to get back to building and rebuilding some of the foundational stuff. And again, I thought we played well enough to win tonight, but just didn't go our way. Yep. Okay. Thanks everybody. Take care.
Maybe that fourth quarter, they kind of were able to get to the rim and get some buckets, but you still had some chances to either tie or win. Obviously, you were on the line there at the end, and maybe walk through that situation, and from there, maybe your thoughts on the fourth quarter as a whole.
I think we didn't have our best fourth quarter. In terms of just like playing the way that we play, and we couldn't get stops. Like they were scoring. Zach got hot, and he was scoring a lot. I don't know if that was the third quarter or the fourth. I don't know, but they had a lot of points in transition and then things like that. And then like bad free throw night. Just miss some free throws, especially those 3 at the end or 2 at the end. Super important. I don't know. I just missed them, to be honest. At the end of the day, it probably is going to come down to those free throws. But we had a good lead and we didn't execute the way we wanted to.
Is it different, like free throws? They tend to balance out over time. Yeah. Is that the lesson? Like you don't want to find yourself in a one-game scenario,
right. I mean, at the end of the day, because again, like I thought we played a good basketball game, until like some moments down there in the second half where we didn't play well, but when I look over the board, not a great free throw night for us in general, and like you said, that's what, some of those games you can't have them, I got to be better. I can't be 5 for 11 for the free throw line.
Do you think there was a screaming? Do you think the screaming during the free throws played a role in the team's free throw shooting tonight?
No, I don't. I have no idea really.
Pascal, how far away do you think this team is from kind of being where you want it to be?
I don't know. I think again, we've definitely showed some good stretches, but also not like some stretches where we weren't good at all. And I think that is we're gonna have to be better. And obviously when you look at the season, a lot of ups and downs. You look at our record, 41-41, just not consistent enough. And that's got to change.
There was a stretch in the fourth quarter where you guys had a few turnovers in a row. What were you seeing there? Was it more the Bulls ratcheting up their defense, or was it you guys taking?
I don't know. I can't really tell you. I think we made some tough passes. There was a couple of doubles and things like that. And passes that we usually make, and they were aggressive, but I think that we can make those reads most of the time. But yeah, credit to them, they got the turnovers when they needed them.
What did this game feel like? Was it like a playoff game, or?
Yeah, it's weird. I haven't been in this situation, but it does feel like a playoff game because you got to win. It's an important game. Win or go home, basically. So it definitely have that feel.
There were quite a couple games this year where you guys gave up bigger leads. What were you trying to sort of carry out to your team as a leader when you guys saw that lead dwindle?
I think just continue to just calm down, play within ourselves, and kind of go to things that was working for us, when we had that lead. So I think just mostly don't let the pressure kind of get us out of what we want to do.
What's the plan for the next few days? Do you need some time after a tough season like this to kind of clear your head a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. You need just clear your mind basically, and at the end of the day, yeah, like it's tough season for us in general, and like I said, a lot of ups and downs, and you know, we just wanna kind of like sit back, evaluate everything, see what we can do to get better. Obviously, just for me, continue to work, but first just relax, let your mind.
Pascal, the offense this whole season has been kind of like peaks and valleys, and like you've had a lot of those sort of offensive droughts like you had in the fourth quarter tonight. Where you sit, like, what's happening when things are going well offensively for you guys, or what's happening when things are grinding down?
No, I don't know. I mean, sometimes we miss shots. Sometimes, you know, like you said, turnovers, like things like that. Like that can change like the rhythm of everything.
Pascal, c'est un peu cru comme façon de le représenter, mais est-ce que cette défaite-là est un peu pas représentative des difficultés de la saison?
Ouais, on peut dire ça, mais je pense que comme on a eu à peu près bon match, et puis des moments où on n'a pas été aussi bien, et ouais, comme beaucoup d'inconsistances de notre part en tant qu'équipe, et ouais, dans des matchs comme ça, c'est pas on peut pas vraiment afforder d'avoir des trucs comme ça. On doit être consistant tout le match.
Et dans le quatrième quart, est-ce qu'il y a un point où vous sentiez que ce match-là est en train de vous glisser des mains, ou vous disiez on est encore dans le coup, c'est encore possible?
Non, on s'est toujours dit qu'on était dans le coup, et puis ouais, comme on l'a dit, ils ont mis des tirs importants pour eux à des moments importants, et ouais, on n'arrivait pas à pouvoir continuer à jouer comme on a joué en la première mi-temps, et ouais.
Et quand tu regardes la feuille de statistiques, qu'est-ce qui te saute aux yeux?
Les tirs, non, c'est franc. Quand je vois tout le monde, c'est pas de notre habitude, et puis ouais, quand tu vois tous ces points qu'on a laissés là, ouais, ça fait mal.
C'était ma question justement, Pascal. Est-ce que pour toi, cette défaite se résume à la faillite au lancer franc, ou tu vois d'autres choses?
Non, c'est pas juste ça. Bien sûr que ça fait partie. Mais aussi turnover, aussi juste on n'a pas pu avoir cette consistance qu'on a eu en première mi-temps. Et ouais, dans des matchs comme ça, c'est pas évident.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Go ahead.
It's been a pretty up and down season, but ended on that note with 18 out of 36 to the line. It's got to be, I don't know if it's fitting or more frustrating, or what do you make of that?
I mean, I think any way you slice it, a loss in the play-in is going to be frustrating. So whether you win or you lose, or, you know, especially if you lose, you'll find whatever reason it was that you lost, and you'll try to make sense of it. It's hard to explain, you know, the free throw shooting. It's a tough way to do it, you know, in a one-possession game. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to summarize, you know, our whole season based on one game. It's still fresh. Obviously, I thought, you know, for the most part, we fought and we competed. Just, you know, not good enough to come out with the win. I think you got to find different ways to win, and not the other way around.
After such a tough season, how much do you kind of need this time over the next few days or weeks or whatever it ends up being to clear your head, reflect, and evaluate?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to, you know, get away and, you know, whatever that means for you individually. I think it's also good to sit in it too. You know what I mean? So I'll probably sit in this one for a while. I think, you know, a lot of growth and getting better and just, you know, being able to overcome the obstacles and challenges is accepting, you know, where you come up short and accepting your mistakes and your shortcomings. So probably beat myself up, you know, over this one for a while, and, you know, let it hurt and, you know, let it sink in and then get back to the drawing board. So it's probably only like a 14-day window for me. It's probably the farthest I can go. But right now, tonight, yeah, just, you know, it's going to hurt for sure.
When the offense bogged down a bit there, late third quarter, early fourth, what were you seeing differently in terms of the ball schemes or attacking you specifically?
Yeah, I think for the most part they went to switching 1 through 5. And, that's always a challenge depending on how the game's flowing. I thought we still found ways, in the third at least to, I think we lost a quarter by 2 there. So the flip side of that was taking the ball out of the basket every time and then picking up full court and then coming down to the this 1 through 5 switching. It just bogged us down a little bit, and it felt like when we were getting a stop or close to a stop, they would throw a 3 in at the buzzer or get to the free throw line. So, just a bad combo of us kind of stalling out a little bit and them, staying aggressive and getting more confident and attacking the basket. And we just never really had an answer for that. But, you got to give them credit as well. Zach played an unbelievable game, 15 free throws. It gets tough down there to stretch. You got to be able to close it out.
I'm sure there's a bunch of different things that you could point to for why the season didn't go the way I imagine you all hoped or expected it to. But if you had to kind of boil it down to 1 or 2 things, what do you feel like happened this season for you guys?
I mean, it's hard to do, all at once, and the position I'm in, I'm not really trying to make any general statements right now, But yeah, I think we were a 9 seed, we were 500, and so what does that tell you? That means you won 1, lost 1, you win 2, lose 2. Like, it's just the way it goes, and that's just kind of the way it went. There was a lot of different things going on, a lot of noise, a lot of, different things coming from all different angles. I'm proud of the group for sticking together, and we didn't really have too much negativity inside the locker room, as things can go sometimes. So we got a lot of guys, and overall, I think we just got to be able to learn from it. And there's a lot of young guys getting their first experience and their first couple of years and trying to break out and become who they want to be in this league. And I think you just got to take all of these lessons and learn from them and continue to get better.
We saw DeMarco in the locker room. You probably won't want to tell us, but any chance we can discuss what you guys talked about?
Yeah, I mean, that's just my brother, man. We didn't really talk much for the last, week or two, just leading up, kind of knowing what this was going to be. I didn't really talk to him before the game, during the game. So, it's family. So it's good to see him. Not very happy with him right now, but, I let him and Kyle go fight it out. But it was, it's a tough way to go, especially him coming here and all of the history leading up to it. I'm sure he's happy about that, but we're on the wrong side of that one for sure.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.